Welcome to the Clutch Time Podcast with your host, Daniel Kreider and Ryan Vargas. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's happening out there, everybody? I want to welcome you back. As I said, welcome my co-host, Mr. Ryan Vargas. How you doing today?
What's going on, man?
Oh man, what a fun week in sports. Gosh, this is getting a good time of the year, you know it?
Yeah, dude, things are heating up for sure right now.
Yeah, I'm just loving just all the between NCAA football to the Major League Baseball to NFL, NBA, they're all kind of rocking. Of course, the NBA is in preseason, so
right.
Not quite as much hype. It's still fun to peek in every once in a while because most of your big players aren't playing. But the one thing about it though, it's kind of cool to see some of the bench players getting out there to see what they got to work with. It still does tell you a little something, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. It's crazy to think that the NBA is just right around the corner, man.
I know.
That came quick.
And college basketball is right around the corner from there,
Yep.
And so a lot of fun stuff happening. Let's get right into it, man. What do you think?
Well, as far as college football goes, what an interesting year, man. Interesting year this year with college football because obviously there's the Bama, right? Like the almighty Alabama, who's always going to be who they are as long as Nick Saban's there. But it's pretty even after that. And I'll tell you a team I was really impressed with this weekend was Georgia.
Yeah,
they had a massive win, dude, against a ranked Arkansas team, 37-0 against number 8 Arkansas. And so after Bama and Georgia, dude, it's pretty wide open because them Ducks definitely might have blew it for themselves this weekend at Stanford.
Yes, I agree. And it's crazy because it is. That was a big loss for Oregon. I think that eliminates them out of any. I mean, it has to.
I agree.
They beat got beat by Ohio State already. One of the ones I was really disappointed in was Hawaii beat Fresno State. They were kind of on our radar. You pointed that out.
It's hyping them up, man. They let me down.
You know what? They only lost by a field goal. So they lost by 3. So not like a huge loss, but I mean, it's Hawaii. You would think they would handle them pretty easily.
Yeah.
Michigan and Iowa both win. Dude, the Big Ten has got some heavy hitters in there too. I was kind of shocked. I was kind of shocked about how good the Big Ten is this year. And like you said, Georgia just freaking steamrolled Arkansas. I mean, it wasn't even they didn't even score. So
yeah.
Alabama beat Ole Miss 42-12. I would say that's pretty respectable win there. Man, it's going to be interesting to see how the rest of this season. What other than Fresno State? What is a college team that you've seen that you were like, man, I don't know, these guys are pretty good?
Well, I think a big surprise. I mean, I don't know how good they are, but they're sitting at 5-0 and they just beat number 10 Florida is Kentucky.
I know.
Which I mean is just kind of cool to see. Like I said, they haven't lost yet, and that was a big win for them. But their next 2 games is first they got LSU and then they got Georgia. So we'll know a lot more about Kentucky within a couple weeks. But yeah, they're definitely a surprising team for sure. I'm just trying to figure out if I had to pick today, who do I think would make the college football playoff? And like I said, man, after Bama, Georgia, it's pretty wide open.
I think so. I think Michigan and Iowa are good are good ones to put in contention for that.
Yeah.
You know what else surprised me is I don't know who all they've played yet, but I noticed that Oregon State is not lost.
I could be wrong. I think they're at the top of the Pac-12 right now.
Yeah. I was like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And they're like so close to us.
Yeah,
I should be on my game on that one, but no, I was kind of scrolling through and I'm like, wow, I don't think they've played anybody really dominant, but but nevertheless, they're at
Right.
3-0. I mean, they must be playing some good football because it's still college football. You know,
Shout out to the Beavs, man.
yeah, they haven't played a Bama or Georgia or anything, but it's still that was kind of caught me off a little bit. I was like, wow, okay, I didn't think they were going to be very good at all this year, but
Yeah.
evidently they're better than Oregon at this point.
Yeah. No
But they
kidding,
probably
man.
haven't played Ohio State, and I mean I get that too because I know a lot of Duck fans are probably throwing stuff at me right now. But
yeah, well, we'll definitely see who's the better team with them once they play. But at least for now, they got bragging rights, dude. Sitting undefeated at the top of the Pac-12. That's just pretty cool to see for Corvallis, and it's a lot of Beaver fans, especially around here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
they get hyped up, man, which rightfully so, dude. Another team, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
they're still kind of up there.
Yeah.
Looking at their schedule, I don't have it in front of me, but they haven't really beat anybody impressive yet. And their remaining schedule don't have a lot of big time games, if I can remember right. And so it'll be really interesting, man. Like I said, you got Alabama, you got Georgia. I mean, Penn State might be able to sneak up in there. And earlier you mentioned Michigan. What a big year and a much needed year for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
He was up against the ropes there. It was make or break time for Harbaugh at Michigan, and everybody knew it. He knew it. And I mean, they're undefeated. I believe they're number 14 right now. They might have moved up.
Yeah, I think they let's see here. I'm going to click. I want to see because Oklahoma's ranked number 6. So Oklahoma's got a pretty freaking tough game next week. They got Texas.
Oklahoma, Texas next week.
Yeah, so they got Texas, TCU, Kansas, Texas Tech, Baylor, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State. Actually, Oklahoma State and Texas are tough games. Well, Baylor too, really. Baylor's playing well. So yeah, that was interesting. Let's see here. So yeah, okay. I was just checking who else they had beat. So they beat Nebraska, and West Virginia. West Virginia, that's a pretty good win. But yeah, other than that, I don't see anybody ranked anyway, I should say.
Yeah. It'll be interesting, man. It's a bummer for them Ducks, dude. That was a big loss. Because, I mean, this was the year to really sneak up in there if they could at least run it through the Pac-12. But at this point, even if they win out in the Pac-12, will that be enough? Are enough of those big wins against Pac-12 schools? And I don't think it will be.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see any Pac-12 team being in the mix at all at the end of the season. I think Oregon was their only shot. And yeah, that didn't pan out very well. So meanwhile, in Major League Baseball, which is a super fun time of the year, man, we had a heck of a Sunday. So Boston and New York was must-win games. And New York was playing Tampa Bay. So to kind of sum it all up, you had Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays, and Seattle was kind of in the mix, but they kind of fell off. They didn't really. But New York won with Aaron Judge hitting a walk-off hit to get them to the playoffs. Yeah.
That was today.
That was today. It was nuts. And they were scoreboard watching. They had to be. You know what I mean? Because it's everything to get into the playoffs, So it ends up that what a wild card game. The New York Yankees playing the Boston Red Sox. It's just crazy. So that's going to happen on Tuesday. You got St. Louis. Yes, the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know what's happening here, but
Danny's representing tonight.
It's got a little wild up in here tonight. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so they will go to LA. And you know what? I'm going to say this right here is going down the tube, Jack. We're taking it. We're taking it. We're taking it.
So is that a wild card game as well?
It is a wild card game. So the only thing that hurts is I was just looking. I thought, man, I don't know. Max Scherzer is actually going to be the guy we're going to face. So Two legends, actually, Adam Wainwright and Max Scherzer, which, man, that's going to be tough in LA. But I think my Redbirds are going to I think they're going to find a way. They're just going to find a way. They usually do. And then the winner of Boston, New York will play Tampa Bay on Thursday. So New York could turn around and play Tampa Bay again if they win that game. And let's see, Wednesday. So then the winner of the Cardinals and Dodgers will play San Francisco, and that will be on Friday.
So those wild card games, are those a series? Are those one and done?
It's a one and done game. You win, you go. You lose, you go home. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's a super exciting games because there is so much pressure in that one game. A sleeper team too that, man, I don't hear much of anybody because they clinched so early was the Chicago White Sox. Man, they are good. They are super good. They're going to be in Houston playing the Astros. So, and then you got Atlanta at Milwaukee on Friday as well. So there's going to be a lot of really good baseball this week, and it's going to get really exciting really quick. You know, the only thing is with the wild card, what is such a challenge is going to be like, well, let's go back to the Dodgers and Cardinals. You got Adam Wainwright and Max Scherzer throwing on Wednesday. So then you got Thursday would be a day off, and then Friday going right into San Fran, you know. So the Cardinals, I mean, I don't think, you know, Wainwright, Max Scherzer, I mean, they're both pretty deep in starting pitching. Cardinals finally started figuring it out late in the game. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm super excited, man. It was fun to watch those last minute games and to watch these guys just battle head to head. Cause you know, everybody was watching the scoreboard. Like, did Boston win? You know, Boston's going to New York winning, or, you know, cause it was that close.
So now that we're in October, who do you feel like is the hottest team right now?
I think it's the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm going to say, you know, they got really hot, went 17 in a row. So the challenge with baseball is going to be, now you're already in the playoffs. So what do? You know, do you sit your guys or do you let them roll? You know, just let them keep rolling. And they still won some games. They beat the Cubs a couple times, I think. And yeah, they finished off the season strong. Besides today, they lost to the Cubs. But I think at this point, it's more, let's keep everybody healthy. But we kind of want to stay in our rhythm, you know, because so we could find out that could make or break them. And that goes with a lot of the other teams too. Sometimes it's kind of a catch-22. So like for, you know, the Yankees and Red Sox, for instance, they knew it was all in. We have to win these games, right? So they're playing hard. You know, they're going all the way through trying to make sure they, you know, secure their spot. And now they got to play one more game and then go right into the playoffs, you know? So, so it's a challenge. But the funny thing is a lot of wild card teams end up winning the World Series, believe it or not.
Gotcha. Because they're just hot at the right time.
They're just hot at the right time. And that's baseball in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
If you can get hot at the right time, you can do some damage. I think St. Louis is going to bring some fire into this game. It's going to, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is going to be an exceptionally stressful game for me being a Cardinal fan, but this is going to be, there's going to be some great baseball in the next few days. I mean, it's going to be crazy. You know, and it starts Tuesday night. So
who do you think will come through that Yankees Red Sox game?
You know, I'm going to say the Red Sox. Red Sox have been playing better, I think. You know, but once the Yankees get rolling, I mean, they're loaded. They got Aaron Judge, they got Stanton, they got pitching. You know, Chris Sale's back for the Red Sox. So that's going to be huge for them, because I think that's what kind of threw them off a little bit. And baseball is a game about rhythm. You know, it's all about that rhythm. And, you know, something gets shaken up, you know, you like to think, hey, we can still roll. But Chris Sale's a great pitcher. You know, I got to see him quite a bit when he pitched for the Sox, the White Sox as well. And it'll be a lot of fun. This is going to be one of the I think one of the postseasons that's people are gonna talk about for a couple of years.
Well, you don't even have to be a big baseball person per se to know that when the Yankees and Red Sox play, especially this time of year, man, you better tune in.
Yeah,
it's fun. Based off of history, man, it's going to be a showdown.
Yeah, and two of them. This is what. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I'm saying this would be super cool. Two of the most winning franchises in baseball, being the New York Yankees and St. Louis Cardinals, could possibly meet in the World Series.
You calling that? Call it, bro.
I'm, I say it's either going to be them or the White Sox.
Okay.
But I think if my Cardinals get going, I don't think there's any stopping them. I really don't. I think they got a tremendous offense, and Arenado at third base, Goldschmidt at first. I mean, yeah, we got a tough outfield. I mean, Tyler O'Neill's been on fire. It's the biggest thing that I'm most concerned about is going to be pitching for us, is going to be making sure our pitchers throw well. They stay locked in. Bullpen, finally, we got some guys in the bullpen now. So, and that's a ton of what the postseason is as well.
That depth.
The depth and being able to, because you always got to plan on it. Every series, it seems like you have that one guy that is just like, don't show up, and not on purpose, but, just has an off game. That just happens. That's the sport. And so lots of fun, man. I'm super excited about that. And so we'll have plenty to talk about next week. And I'm either going to be really ecstatic and super happy, or I'm going to be exceptionally upset.
Yeah, if there's no show next week, you know why.
That's right. That's right. You'll just see a picture on this. You won't see anything else. It'll just be a picture. But I'll be soaking in my sorrows. But anyway, let's move on to the NFL. We are in our 4th week. Man, there's a lot happening in the NFL too. Just some games to run through real quick. Washington beats the Falcons. The Bills throttle the Texans 40-0. Bears beat the Lions. Cowboys roll past the Panthers defense, which that was a big win for Prescott, I think.
Yeah. He's been hot, man.
He has. And
that dude has been looking good out there for sure, especially coming back after that type of injury. You just never know how they're going to respond. And it seems like the game itself has slowed down a lot for Dak, just in his confidence and the throws he's making. It's been pretty cool watching him.
Yeah, and all the criticism that guy's taken, good for him. Good for him. And he put 36 up on the Panthers. They win 36-28. That's a good win.
Colts for 4 TDs.
Yeah, I seen that. And that's tough because that Panthers defense is really good.
Yeah.
The Browns beat the Vikings. Giants win versus the Saints. The Jets beat the Titans. Chiefs beat the Eagles. That's a big bounce back for Mahomes. And dude, your team that you said to be looking out for has continuously surprised the crap out of me, dude. The big Cardinals beating the Rams. I would have never guessed that one. Never. And they're just rolling.
They are. And I mean, that game was in LA too. I mean, they won by 17 points?
I believe
37-20, I think. And I mean, Kyler Murray, 268 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 39 yards. They're just clicking. And like we said a couple weeks ago, man, they're just good on both sides of the ball. And I think Kyler Murray's might be more of a special talent than any of us have really seen yet. He's just very unique, and we're starting to see him also get comfortable in his role. I think he's in his third year.
I think it's third season. Yeah.
Possibly third season, but he's got weapons, man. And the Rams, they're not no pushover team. I mean, that's a good defense. That's a good team to play. So
exactly. That's kind of what I was saying. And I was, trying, well, of course I'm trying to keep up on all of it, but it was like, that was one game I kind of kept my eye on. I thought, man, that's a pretty big game for the Cardinals. And then it was like, wow, they're beating the Rams. Like, geez,
Yeah,
This is a shocker to me. I really thought the Rams were going to win that game because they've been on a roll.
they have.
They've
That
been
was
doing
definitely a
really
statement
well.
win.
And the Seahawks beat the 49ers. Ravens beat the Broncos. Green Bay beats the Steelers. I would have not have guessed that as well. And Green Bay, if I remember right, is 3-0 at the top of their division there, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, they lost their first game when they looked terrible. Terrible. People said it's the worst game they've ever seen Aaron Rodgers play, and then they haven't lost since. So I think they're 3-1.
3-1. Oh yeah, that's right.
Overall record.
That's right. That's right.
But their past 3 games, dude. I mean, Rodgers is just locked in for sure. They've been.
Well, yeah, and he was taking. That's another guy, man. He just took a beating just after that first game. Like, people were just riding.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of that had to do with the build up to that game, because it's almost seemed like he was kind of checked out and ready to leave Green Bay, because they were kind of already planning for life after Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And he's just the type of guy that's just, if you don't want me here right now, why wait another year? Like, let's just move on then, And so there was kind of that behind the scenes going on. And then when they came out that first game and he just looked really bad. I mean, if we're honest, for his standards, at least,
right.
It was like, man, is this dude checked out? Is this going to be just a long season for Green Bay?
Yeah.
But they turned it around, man, and they've been pretty dominant since then.
Yeah, and good for him, man. That's tough to bounce back like that. So yeah, there's going to be some interesting. I mean, there's some teams that are kind of surprising me a little bit. Maybe not to your avid football guys, but I wouldn't consider myself an avid football guy. I like football, obviously, and I watch it, but like, I'm not super scholar on that kind of stuff. So it's been cool to see some of these other teams kind of creeping up in there. And like, the Cowboys, it seems like they take just unbelievable criticism every year. They can't never do anything right, so it's like, even when they do something right, it's like, well, yeah, that's a fluke, and it's like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
a break, man. Yeah. It's like the media can be brutal, man. It's but that's what they're paid to do, and that's what gets them the ratings, I guess. But so the NFL, this is going to be interesting next week. Moving in, who's got the Monday night game this week? Is it ain't it the Raiders? It is the Raiders, and they will be playing the Chargers. That's right. So it'll be the Raiders and the Chargers.
Justin Herbert, he's tough.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be a good game, and that's going to be a good win for the Raiders if they can pull that game off.
Yeah.
That's another team that's rolling pretty good.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to get used to seeing them as the Las Vegas Raiders. Still so used to Oakland.
I can't get used to that. It's
different for sure.
In my mind, LA's got like 5 teams right now. You know what I mean?
I know. Seriously.
It's like, man, the Raiders have been all over the place. They're like that. This was that song. I've been around the world, and yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely their song.
They're like Oakland, LA. Who knows where they end up? Oh, let's go to Vegas. Cool.
Yeah,
do it. So
hey, big shout out to New York, man. Both the Giants and the Jets got their first wins of the season this week.
Nice.
Giants defeated the Saints, and the Jets beat the Titans.
Nice.
So none of the New York teams are going to go a full season without a win. So
yeah, they're probably celebrating. It's probably like they won the Super Bowl because.
Oh no, you ain't lying. I didn't see the Giant game, but I watched the Jets win, and you would have thought that they just won the Super Bowl.
I'll tell you what, that team just, man, I know. Yeah, them poor Jets fans, and they're probably some of the most loyal fans ever, and they just can't.
They are.
Gosh, it's like they get excited from a draft pick, and then they end up not doing exactly what they anticipated. So, it is what it is. That's sports, ladies and gentlemen. You can be on a high, and then it can swoop you clean off your feet in one swoop, and it's that quick.
So, Ro, but you're right. They are loyal fans, and that's good to see in sports, dude.
It is.
Those fans that are they're just there, And if any fan base has had a good reason to maybe not be loyal and say, you know what, we're done, it's the Jets fans, and they're still out there. So good for them, and they got to win today.
Exactly. So they're celebrating. They won the Super Bowl. In NBA news, as I just knocked my mic over, sorry. NBA news: the Nets beat LA 123-97, and that, I don't know. What do you think? It's KD, Kyrie, Blake Griffin, James Harden, Mills did not play. LeBron, Westbrook, Melo, AD did not play. What do you think? Does it mean anything?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think it was a fun demo game,
For sure.
And it does give you a little bit of a measuring stick, I guess, for your bench, for the bench that Dwight Howard played,
You're right. And that's probably where most of the value in those games is found, is those guys who trying to figure out their roles and get a little confidence out there on the court. So
right. And we still have some vaccine issues going on in the NBA. I want you to take a listen at this real quick.
Dealing with something that to me feels like has turned into a political war. When you make something so political and people, not everyone is into politics, then you can also turn those people off. I think there is something to be said for people's concern about something that's being pressed so hard. Like, why are you pressing this so hard? Like, so much, you're just pressing and pressing and pressing. I think you have to honor people's feelings and their own personal beliefs. And I think that's been lost when it comes to vaccinated and non-vaccinated. But you say we live in a land of the free. Well, you're not giving anyone freedom because you're making people do something essentially without necessarily making them. You're making them do something. That goes against everything that America stands for, or supposedly stands for.
There's a lot of uncertainty surrounding starter Andrew Wiggins. He's refused to get a COVID vaccination, and the NBA has denied his request for a religious exemption. The ruling means under current health city orders, he is ineligible to play home games.
What's the reason for not just explaining what you believe?
It's none of your business. That's what it comes down to.
You stand to lose a lot of money.
And it's my problem, not yours.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep fighting for what I believe, and whether it's one thing or another, get a vaccination or not get a vaccination, who knows? I'm just going to, keep fighting for what I believe and what I believe is right.
What is it about the vaccine that makes you hesitant to get it?
I would start with I've had COVID in the past, and so our understanding of antibodies, of natural immunity, has changed a great deal from the onset of the pandemic, and is still evolving. I understand that the vaccine would help if you catch COVID, and you'll be able to have less symptoms from contracting it. But with me having COVID in the past and having antibodies, with my current age group and physical fitness level, it's not necessarily a fear of mine. Taking the vaccine does open me up to the, albeit rare chance, but the possibility of having an adverse reaction to the vaccine itself. I don't believe that being unvaccinated means infected, or being vaccinated means uninfected. You can still catch COVID with or without having the vaccine. The craziness of it all, in terms of not being able to say that it should be everybody's fair choice without being demeaned or talked crazy to, doesn't make one comfortable to do what said person is telling them to do.
I would like an explanation to, people with vaccines. Why are they still getting COVID? If that's something that we are supposed to highly be protected from. Like, it's funny that, it reduces your chances of going to the hospital. It doesn't eliminate anybody from getting COVID, right? So is everybody in here vaxxed? I would assume, right? So you all can still get COVID, right? Less likely to die or go to the hospital. Okay, but you can still get COVID, right? And you can still pass it along with the vax, right? I'm just asking the question. I mean, it's no different than somebody with the vaccine. Like, I developed the antibodies for it, so my chances will be less likely now as well, right? But it's still a possibility I may get it. Just like there are players and coaches and staff who are vaxxed, and missing camp right now because of it. So
Yeah, interesting stuff. What's your thoughts on that?
It's just unfortunate, you know, like that here we are and there's these professional athletes, you know, getting pressed about vaccines at their press conferences. You know, it's unfortunate that that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
You know, I like the way that Draymond put it. You know, it's just like they just press it so hard. It's just pressed so hard. I mean, shoot, you watch an NFL game and every other commercial, it's like, you know, the vaccine being pressed and whatnot. And, you know, like we said before, if you get the vax, that's cool. If you don't want the vax, that should be your choice. You know, and Draymond like nailed it. You know, like when we get away from allowing people to make that choice for themselves, like that goes against everything that our country stands for.
Yeah.
You know, and at the end of the day, who really knows? You know what I mean? Who really knows about this vaccine? Like none of us really do. We like to trust the experts and doctors, but there's been experts and doctors who have spoke out against it. So it's like, who exactly do you trust? You know, but I just think that we got to get back to this place where it's okay for people to just decide these things for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew Wiggins now got the vaccine, which is totally cool. But what's unfortunate is the way he had to get the vaccine, you know, because it wasn't something he wanted to do. And then he wasn't going to get paid for his job. And so he ended up doing it. And like I said, dude, if people want to get the vax, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, I get frustrated with the people who are so far on one side and they like get mad at people who got vax or they get mad at people who don't get vax. It's like, man, we got to stop this war amongst ourselves and just get back to just allowing people to have these rights to make these decisions for themselves.
Well, exactly. And, you know, I feel like, you know, without getting too political with it, but, you know, if you ever did a study on Hitler, you know, it kind of reminds me of that, you know, and maybe obviously not to that extremity, but it's the little things, you know, and, you know, whether you're far right, far left, whatever, I'm the same way, vaccinated, unvaccinated, whatever. I love everybody. I just want us to be able to make our own choices. That's all I'm saying. You know, if you want to get vaccinated, then fine, you know, and then they're worried about, well, we all need to get vaccinated. You should do it, you know, to help somebody else. And it's like, well, wait a minute. It's not really helping anybody, you know, and then they say, well, it'll keep you from getting hospitalized. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this thing's been going on for almost over a year and a half. If a lot of us and I'm not saying, but most of us have probably gotten it to some degree or another. And if anything, science has told us is that some people get it and it completely just knocks them completely back and they're sick for, you know, sometimes a couple of weeks, you know, and people say, well, if they were vaccinated, they wouldn't have been like that. Well, I know people that have been vaccinated that still got deathly ill, you know what I mean? And actually one of them actually still passed away. Right now, the other thing with that is one thing I like about Isaac from Orlando, what he was saying is that, hey, you know, my physical fitness level, you know, the people that it's affected the most, you know, if my health condition was different, I may consider it to protect myself. There again, it goes back to my choice. This is my choice to make. You know, if I got diabetes or if I got, you know, other ongoing ailments in my body, that might be smart to do that, right? But there again, it's your choice. If they don't do it, it should still be their choice, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just my thought. That's always been my thought. And I'm with Draymond on this one all the way. You know, this is America. I've said it before. And, you know, why is it being pushed so hard? You know, I've never seen any vaccine been pushed this hard in my life. And it's kind of like, why?
Yeah.
What are you getting out of it? You know? And so I don't know. I mean, I'm not so far. I try to stay open-minded with that stuff as well and try to just, you know, research and try to educate myself, you know, but it's hard in an information age when you got, like you said, other specialists and doctors that are saying, dude, that's garbage. All you got to do is make sure you're pumping your body with zinc, vitamin D, and all the, make sure you're basically taking your vitamins and you should be good, which really we should be doing anyway, especially this time of year. So,
yeah. And it's weird how you don't ever hear about that. Like, encouragement of ways to help your body stay healthy, like naturally, taking the vitamin C, exercising, stuff like that. And, we're talking about a virus here, a virus that has to run its course. I mean, I've had it and I was really sick, probably the most sick I've ever been, you know what I mean? But like the science and the facts have shown, like you said, like if you're vaccinated, you can still get it.
Right.
If you're vaccinated, you can still spread it. And I think Brad Beal's frustration was like, so what we're saying is if I don't get it, it's me putting myself at more risk. So what does that have to do with any of you guys? You know, he's like, if you guys got it, why are you up here asking me questions about this? Like it's none of your business sort of thing, And I think that's where we're at. It's like, it's almost like the common sense, but you're like, well, let's just think. We got to get back to like thinking and using our brains and thinking for ourselves.
Right.
And like openly like encouraging people to question stuff. That's good. You know what I mean? Like we should question stuff. And I think you nailed it. Like if you're in a position where you have those health issues that put you more at risk, and definitely like do what you have to do. But it's just, I feel bad for these players, especially the ones in the San Franciscos, the Portlands, where it's a little more enforced, because I think it is kind of a state to state issue as far as like a mandate or your choice, which is weird, but it was good to see Draymond, especially, I mean, he's in San Francisco.
I was just going to say, he's in one of the prime capitals of the whole enforcement, so
he probably doesn't have a lot of people around him with his perspective on it, but it's just cool to see him just, sharing his opinion.
Yep, absolutely. And I guess the HIPAA thing just goes out the window. So, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, moving on. Let's get into it. We got a fun little addition. I want to challenge you to some questions right now. And we're going to call this version Fact or Fiction. What is your take?
I like it.
And first question is going to be Ben Simmons. Will he get a deal done before the season starts? Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Ooh. I would say I go with that. I get the crowd.
Well, let me clear that up, actually. Are you saying he'll get a deal done with the 76ers or like a trade deal done? I guess I should ask that.
A trade deal, because he's already in with the 76ers.
You're right. I do not think he will play for Philly.
I know he won't play for Philly. He's done burnt that bridge.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but when Doc reaches his hand out and says, hey, let's talk about this. Let's rap about this for a minute. And he says, no, I'm not playing.
Well, also they had a bunch of their players who were going to fly out and just kind of talk to Ben, you know, and just be around him. And he told them, he said, don't come.
Yeah.
Don't even bother. And so you can just kind of see the writings on the wall. And
it is what it
is.
All right. Question 2, Tom Brady will win another Super Bowl this year. Fact or fiction?
I'm going to go with fact.
Okay. We'll get the crowd hyped on that.
I'm going to go with fact, man. I think I don't see why they couldn't, they got all the weapons back and it is Tom Brady, but
I think Gronk wasn't he hurt this week or something? But
got broken ribs. Yeah.
So, it's Gronk though. He'll be back. Heck, he'll play with a peg and one arm still and still be Gronk. I think he's so tough.
Yeah. He took a hit. Did you see that hit he took?
I didn't get to see it. I'm going to go back and see it because everybody, other guys were talking about it too. I was like, gosh, I got to go check that out. I didn't get a chance to see it, but they put it on.
You don't see Gronk get hit like that often. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Cowboys will go deep in the playoffs. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Ooh. Let's get the.
I'm gonna go with fact, man. For sure. I'm a Cowboy fan, I'll be honest. And so that is my team. So I like to think that every year, but coming from a non-biased perspective, just seeing them play this year, they look good. They really do look good, like better than I've seen them in a long time. So I think if they can stay healthy, they can definitely make a good little run.
I couldn't agree more. I think for sure. Lakers will win the championship. This is a good one.
Fiction.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I mean, obviously it can happen. Will it happen? I think I'm with you. I think that's fiction. I think you're going to see an unraveling. The only thing I would like, I mean, there are some players I would like to see get a ship there, but LeBron's not really one of them, just because he's already got some, not because, or for any other reason. It's just, but there are a couple guys I would like to see. But other than that, man, they got a tough battle ahead. There's so many people that keep talking Nets and all this stuff. And I keep thinking, what about Phoenix, man? You cannot forget about the Phoenix Suns. They got their whole squad pretty much back, and they were tough. And now they're going to be a year older with playoff experience. And I will never down Devin Booker because he is tough. And you pair him with Ayton, forget about it. That's a new thing.
I like that. Yeah. Well, here's my issue with the Lakers, dude. Do they have the talent to win a championship? Of course they do.
Yes, absolutely.
What I don't like about the Lakers is LeBron's got to be in his 4th year in LA right now.
Third? I think fourth year.
They haven't had any stability as far as like chemistry with the same guys.
Right.
Since he got there, they've been completely like, redoing the roster, trying to build it around LeBron, but even this year, it's all new faces, dude. And you don't just develop chemistry overnight.
Yeah.
That takes time and stuff. And you look at like a team like a Phoenix, they have that chemistry.
Right.
They play as a team, and like, Bron's playing with Melo and his boys and Russ and stuff, but there's a lot more than just handpicking your friends to play with.
Yeah.
It goes a lot deeper than that. And I don't see the Lakers winning a championship, and I don't think LeBron will win another one, to be honest.
And I think Dave Williams on our interview last week said it best when he said, "Hey, D, there's only one basketball."
Yeah.
You got a lot of guys in only one basketball, and it'll be exciting to see where it ends up toward, when we get closer to June, and how many, injuries and all that kind of stuff. All right. Question number 5. COVID will last for another year.
I'm just going to say fiction because I want to speak it into existence.
That's what I'm thinking. I can't hit this buzzer enough. No,
I don't even want to bring life to it. Yeah.
I'm so done with this garbage, man. It's so, and that's not being inconsiderate. There's been people, obviously, and we've talked about it before, that's had, devastating losses and whatnot. And I do feel for them, but man, I'm ready for this to be over. This is just craziness.
Yeah.
Number 6. You better answer this one right. The Cardinals will win a World Series this year.
That's a fact.
Yes. Oh,
that's a fact.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button on that one. I hope they do. I don't know. Plus, I like to give all the Cub fans a bunch of, trash talking every now and again. They've been hammering us for a couple of years now, but they traded like their whole squad away this year. So
yeah, that's what Dave was talking about.
That's just Chicago, man. It's unreal. The stuff they get away with. And it's unbelievable.
When was the last time that they won it? The Cardinals.
The Cardinals won it. Their last time would have been in 2011, I believe.
Okay.
So it's been,
not too long ago, but they're due for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving on. Number 7, Georgia is the best college football team in the country.
Fiction, man. Roll Tide.
Ooh. Yeah, that's
Georgia's
tough.
good, but I can't give them that crown yet, man.
They got to earn it. I agree. I think
the
the crazy thing is these guys are in the same conference.
It's nuts. It's nuts, dude.
Like,
just
what
to think
in the
about
world? That. Gosh, they're in the same conference. That's just insane. So be a heck of a fun conference championship.
Oh,
it's like,
absolutely.
Dude, that's going to be a battle. That'll be fun to watch.
Well, your conference is good when both teams can play each other and someone loses. and they're probably still going to be in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It ain't gonna matter. It's
Yeah.
That's when you know you're loaded.
Absolutely.
All right, number 8, Gonzaga will win the NCAA tourney this year.
Fact. Let's go.
Whoa.
It's time. Come on, Gonzaga. I'm rooting for you.
Yeah, yeah, they should. I mean, really, by all rights. It's I think due to the transfer portal this last year, it's going to be tougher than ever, I think. But I'll tell you, like you said, you can't be ranked number 1 as much as they have, and eventually you're going to win it. You know what I mean?
And my answer honestly isn't based off of me doing a lot of research of who they got coming back this year. It's more so based off of like, I just want to see it happen so bad. I just got so much respect for that school and that coach.
Oh,
and
for
that
sure.
program. It would just be cool.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Number 9, Nets will win the NBA championship this year.
I'm going to go ahead and say fact.
Fact. Nice.
Yeah. I think that they will definitely win the NBA championship this year, assuming they have their big 3 when it comes playoff time. But yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. I think they're just younger, and I think they're going to be more durable. The media, that's another thing, man. The media's got to stop some of this stuff, man. It's just stupid. It was kind of picking at Kyrie for a while, and then you see other people saying, get rid of Kyrie and this and that. And it's like, man, you know what? Sometimes Kyrie needs to put his foot in his mouth, but he really hasn't said anything or done anything. It's like, leave the guy alone. Jeez. I mean, let him play basketball. I mean, the dude definitely straight up play.
He's definitely kept to himself. And I think their biggest criticism is he just avoids them.
Yeah.
He doesn't feed into their noise, and it drives them nuts.
And I tip my hat to him, because in the past, like I said, he's sometimes his mouth got him in trouble. And so I think that's why he's like, I'm just going to keep my opinion to myself, and my business is my business. If I want to share it, I'll share it. I think he'll talk basketball in the game all day long, but he's not feeding into any of this other stuff, which is, I think, respectable, like you said.
Yeah.
All right. KD is the best player in the world. Fact or fiction?
Definitely a fact. I believe so. I just don't believe where he's at in his career, no disrespect to LeBron James for sure, but I think that at this point, the most dominant player in the league is Kevin Durant.
I agree. I think the guy is just, having to come back from the injury, and, just the way he's bounced back. He's got himself playing at a super high level right now. And, Kevin Durant, this is the thing about Kevin Durant, and I think people need to pay more attention to this, is that when he was in Oklahoma was a contender, right? When he was in Golden State, although that might be a little different scale, but nevertheless, let's be honest, when he was at Golden State, he took them to a completely ridiculous level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's in the Nets, in Brooklyn, and people are predicting them to win the championship. So it's like the guy he knows how to win,
Yes.
and he brings his team up to that level, and it's cool to see, and his talent. I mean, gosh, the guy is just, a big guy that can dribble and shoot, go to the, he takes, I swear sometimes he only takes like 2.5 steps from 3-point line, and he's dunking the basketball. It's like,
he's incredible, man.
Guy's good, man.
And when he went to Golden State, he was joining a championship team, as we knew, but he was playing alongside 2 future Hall of Famers, if not 3. I mean, with Draymond, Clay, and Steph, but more so speaking of Clay and Steph on the offensive side. And there was no doubt after Durant got there who the guy was.
Yeah.
Who the best player on the court was. And that just says a lot about him. Like, he's just that good. You put him with Steph Curry. I love Steph Curry. Like, we love Steph Curry. Steph
Absolutely.
is just an incredible basketball player that's changed the game. But there's no doubt who the best basketball players on the court when Kevin Durant's out there. And to come back after an Achilles injury, and like, let's be honest, they were an inch away. Had his foot been behind the line, and he knocks that shot down against Milwaukee, and Brooklyn's on to the finals.
Yeah.
you know, from potentially winning it this year. So yeah, he's tough, man. And we've been spoiled by Kevin Durant. Just that type of talent who can shoot the ball with that size and that length.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll go down as one of the best ever.
I think we've been super spoiled either way, because I think we're seeing just a lot of just super freak athletes. You know, granted, it's a little different game today, but nevertheless, these guys can straight up play, and it's fun to watch. And for KD in this day and age to be at the top, in my opinion, that says a lot. And we'll see how the season plays out. All right, number 11. This is I threw in a bonus here, which I really think that we already answered this. So after talking already, but let's throw it out there anyway. Will there be any Pac-12 teams in the college football playoffs this year? Fact or fiction?
Fiction, man. I don't think we're gonna see any Pac-12 teams college football playoffs. Like we said, it was the Ducks' spot to lose, and I think they lost it for sure. Just because there's no, like we said, if they win out, who's a big win against? Really, that's going to propel you to the college football playoff. I just don't think the league's that strong.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And yeah, that will sum up and wrap up our fact or fiction. What else you got, Ryan?
What else do I got, man? It's a big week this coming week, man. I get the key to our new spot tomorrow.
Nice.
So that's going to be fun. So everybody out there that's in our area and rocks with Clutch Time, mid-October to at the latest, beginning of November, we should be up and rolling again at our new location. We're going to hit it hard with the concrete jungle. Continue to do that. It'll be indoor now, which is sick. So it makes it a lot easier for me to plan it. Don't have to plan around potential rain. So we're going to dive into that 3-on-3 stuff a lot of training, and, you know, probably have a couple teams again, but I'm just excited, man. It's a new season. I love fall. I love this time of year, man. It's a new month, you know, getting ready for a new year. Yeah, it's just a good time, man.
Good stuff, man. This was a good week. This is, and I think next week I think it's going to start ramping up from here out, you know, and hopefully we have no hangups, and we can get back to business as usual, man. I'm ready. How about you?
Yeah, absolutely,
man. Everybody watching and listening is ready too. Like, please, Lord.
It's time.
Let it happen. All right, man. What's that sound right there? Oh, is it already the end of this episode?
That means we out of here.
Man. That's all we got for this week, folks. We'll be back next week. All kinds of Major League Baseball, NFL, all the same stuff, a little more amped up. We're getting longer in the season. We thank y'all for listening, watching, however you're making that happen. We appreciate it. Make sure you share, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're on YouTube. That way, when we upload the next episodes, you'll be alerted and ready to go. We love y'all. God bless. Peace.